Have you ever stopped to think about what the internet would feel like without all the big corporate logos everywhere? Well, according to a new academic paper, for a whole lot of people, that future is actually happening right now. Okay, let's dive into this huge shift in how we build trust online.
We're right at the beginning of what these researchers are calling the brandless revolution. It's this move away from the traditional corporate branding that has, let's be honest, pretty much dominated our lives for the last century.
So just imagine for a second, what if the Nike swoosh or the Apple logo just lost their power? What would we even use to decide who or what to trust? This is the big question we're going to dig into today.
And for some groups, this isn't just some abstract idea. For digital nomads who really value freedom and authenticity, and for all the creators at the very heart of the NFT space, this brandless future, it's already their day-to-day reality.
Now, let's be super clear about something. This isn't about killing off brands altogether. Not at all. It's about a complete reinvention of what a brand even is, and how it's supposed to work in a decentralized world.
The paper gives us this awesome term for it, brandless by design, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a conscious choice to swap out the old ways we signal trust, like a fancy logo, for new ones that are born from Web3. We're talking about things like having a verifiable history on the blockchain that anyone can check, and rules that are hard-coded right into a smart contract.
And this quote from the research it nails it. The key takeaway here is that it's not an absence of brand, it's a substitution. All the jobs a brand used to do, like telling you something is high quality or trustworthy, are now being handled by the technology and the community itself.
This comparison really makes the whole shift click. Look, on the left, you've got the old world, right? Trust was built on logos, on giant corporate headquarters, on massive ad campaigns. But on the right, you have the Web3 model. Here, trust is built on stuff you can actually verify, on-chain data, automated rules, the reputation of a digital wallet, and rules that the community sets together. It's a massive shift from trusting an institution to trusting a system.
So you're probably wondering, how does this new system of trust actually work? Well, the research paper breaks it all down into 5 key pieces that fit together to make this whole brandless thing possible.
And here it is, the core framework from the paper. It shows 5 concepts that are all interconnected: affordances, signaling, consumer identity, parasocial interaction, and governance. I know, it looks a little academic, but stick with me, we're going to break down exactly what each of these means.
First up, we've got affordances. Think of this as the tech foundation, the nuts and bolts of it all. It's things like the blockchain's ability to prove an item's entire history, its provenance, or using a token to give someone exclusive access to a community. This tech is basically the toolbox that lets us build trust without needing a big company in the middle.
Second is signaling. Okay, so if you don't have a logo, how do you show people you're the real deal? In Web3, you do it with data. Your entire transaction history, your wallet's reputation, it all adds up to become this transparent trust resume that anyone, anywhere, can look up and verify for themselves.
The third key is consumer identity. This is all about you. The digital assets you own, the ones you choose to show off in your wallet, they become a part of who you are online. It's not about the brand of clothes you wear anymore. It's about the unique digital things you've collected. Your assets tell your story.
Fourth is this really fascinating idea called parasocial interaction. It's all about forming an emotional connection. The research points to things like virtual influencers. We can feel a real attachment to something based on how consistent and relatable it is, even if it's not actually a person. You can build trust with a system, not just a company.
And finally, number 5, governance. So who's in charge? Who makes the rules? In the old world, it's the corporation. But here, it's the community. A lot of the time, the rules are just baked right into the code with smart contracts, or they're decided by DAOs, which are basically just communities owned and run by their members. The accountability shifts from the boardroom right to the community itself.
So looking at this framework again, you can really see how it all just clicks together. The tech backbone, the affordances, makes new ways of signaling trust possible. That transparent signaling lets users build their own unique consumer identity, which in turn helps build a human connection through parasocial interaction. And the whole thing operates within a system of community-led governance. It's a whole new ecosystem.
But, and this is a big but, this new world isn't some perfect utopia. Like any huge technological shift, this brandless model comes with incredible promise, but also some really serious risks.
The promise is absolutely huge, especially for creators.
Artists, musicians, they can completely bypass the old gatekeepers, like record labels and galleries. They can connect directly with their audience and keep total creative control. It's a massive deal for creative freedom.
But then you have the peril, and the source material is very clear on this, quoting real concerns about the environmental impact. The amount of energy some blockchains use is a major, ongoing problem, and it's something the Web3 space is still trying to solve.
And this table really shows the fundamental tension in Web3. On one side, you've got the incredible promise of creative autonomy, real, authentic engagement, and this new kind of decentralized identity. But on the other side, you've got the peril of wild market swings, environmental issues, and a landscape that's still struggling with fraud and a serious lack of regulation. So, where do we go from here? Well, the paper doesn't just point out the problems. It actually tries to chart a path forward for redesigning our digital world in a more responsible way.
The researchers suggest 4 really important steps. First, we need standardized licenses so everyone's rights are crystal clear. Second, we need clear disclosures about all the risks and fees involved. Third, we should use on-chain registries to make things like ownership and royalty payments totally transparent and auditable. And fourth, we need to empower these communities with real governance tools so they can effectively regulate themselves.
Which brings us right back to that big question from the beginning. In a world where the old, traditional brands are starting to fade, the answer to who do you trust is fundamentally changing. It might not be a logo or a corporation anymore. Instead, it might be a community, a transparent system, or the verifiable history of a digital wallet. The real question is, are we ready for that?